This incredible old-growth Douglas fir here is well over 600 years old, which makes it over 3 times the age of Canada itself, and it's in the middle of a forest that's being actively managed for timber values. But don't worry, I'm here at Wildwood, a demonstration ecoforest on Vancouver Island that manages for ecological, biological, social, cultural, and spiritual values in addition to timber values. So while this tree has an incredibly high economic value, it's worth even more standing and thus not at risk of being cut down anytime soon. See, modern logging practices often consider the economics of a forest harvest first and foremost, only concerning the ecological impacts when required to by loose sets of laws when it comes to riparian buffers or slope stability, and as a result, big landscape and hydrology altering roads are installed to allow access to clear-cutting as much timber as possible for as cheap as possible, with very little of those economic returns going back towards restoring the ecological function of these lands, resulting in heaps of problems from erosion to sedimentation of streams and lower salmon returns, habitat destruction and loss of all sorts of biodiversity, landslides, drought, altered hydrological flows, increased risk to wildfire, and fracturing of carbon sequestration and storage cycles at landscape levels. However, here at Wildwood, harvested logs are selected based on their contributions to the ecological, social, and cultural values of a forest as a whole, and when they are selected for timber values, they're removed through closed canopy harvest via ATVs and machinery that takes them to an on-site sawmill where they're milled locally before going to market. Not only does this model keep the biological and ecological function of these ecosystems intact, but it creates jobs and stability within the community and demonstrates the feasibility of creating a new forestry model all across the continent that aims to grow a better future for all the shareholders involved, from me to you, the communities we live in, the lands we live on, and the future that we all share.